All right, Coach, whenever you're ready, please go ahead.
Yeah, another good challenge on the road. Atmosphere. There'll be a lot of emotion at this game, and a good team. So got to get back to it and prepare to win.
Coach, you're not happy with the record. Everybody knows that. However, the strength of schedule has been crazy. You guys have played well enough in some of those games to get that W. But as you said after the game, finishing. Talk about the desire to, A, keep everybody together, and B, getting that finish you're looking for against a good team.
Yeah, that was a big discussion yesterday with the players. Is what it felt like in that moment. We have 6 minutes left in the game, and we're completely in control of the game. And I think there was a little bit of try to survive instead of continue to attack and keep your foot on them. So that's a mindset and a mentality of where we may have not been as aggressive the way we played. You can just watch some of the plays where we're all of a sudden off now instead of up and putting our hands on them like we were all game. Things like that where we got to stay on the attack to finish out good teams, which Houston is a very good team.
You see a lot of players, sometimes they turn your head. Aiden Sullivan, I thought, had a tremendous game. Talk about him, what makes him a good player, and his performance against Houston.
Yeah, he plays extremely hard. Plays the way you want that position to play. He's a junior college guy that took some time like junior college guys do, and he's kind of coming into being that player we saw on his junior college film.
Can you talk about Appalachian State and they have kind of a reputation over the years? Talk about what you expect and what they're like.
Yeah, they're fast, they're physical, and that is their reputation. They've always been a tough team to play and tough team to beat, and that's what they are again this year. And so it's going to be a great challenge.
Since we spoke to you last on Friday, Coach, have you made any changes to the staff?
No.
Why not?
Everything I look at is benefit of the player, and to do something right now in the week of trying to prepare, if it would benefit the players to do that and make them better, then I would absolutely do it. At this moment, that wouldn't be the case.
There's obviously been a lot of backlash on social media in recent days, and I know you guys take a very firm stance of that's all outside noise, but a lot of these people buy tickets to fill the stadium. What's kind of your message to those guys that maybe have lost faith? Yeah,
I mean, I understand from where we're at. I mean, we're 0-5, so totally understand it from that point. What people do and what their opinions, they're all valid and have those opinions, but it's just doesn't move me either way.
Have you guys considered making any changes to your offensive play calling, regime, whether it be Danny Langsdorf or maybe Pat McCann in place of Gundy? No. You watch the offense play, and then they moved the ball. We were able to get points on the board, and we're in control, and we were running the ball. The run game improved greatly, and there were plays that weren't made that need to be made. So when I watch it, it's not a scheme or a play not being called or issues like that. And so that's kind of what you look at is it a systematic thing, or is it, we didn't make the play when we should have. And then after a review of the tape, do you think Cornell's kind of earned the right to be the lead back moving forward? And what did he do that, really gave you guys so much benefit against them this past weekend?
Yeah, he ran really hard and downhill. And he got an opportunity and performed well. So he's definitely a guy that's going to continue to get more carries and more reps and continue to push for more playing time. There's no doubt.
Defensively, one of the things that went well Friday night was your quarterback contained on Houston's quarterback. Did you do anything scheme-wise that was an improvement, or was it just executing what the scheme has been all along?
Well, there was execution for sure was a big factor, and understanding, and that's what we've been working on a lot this season, and getting them to understand is where are the escape lanes, and who gets to go and who has to be ready to fill those escape lanes. And I thought they did a great job of understanding that against Houston and then executing it. I think that was the biggest thing is their execution. And we did some different stuff pressure-wise to make him get off time and throw the ball earlier than he wanted, which helped, but their execution was the crucial part.
Trent, your thoughts on the challenge of this App State run game and sort of how it fuels their offense?
Yeah, I think it's a good challenge. I think a lot like the team we just played. They want to run the ball first and then go from there. So we got to do a great job against their run game, which I think is much improved this year for us, and then needs to continue to be that way.
And returning to the staffing discussion, obviously, 3 out of your guys' 5 losses this season, special teams played a big role, as you obviously pointed out. And those issues were about execution, discipline, those sort of things. When you're discussing player benefit, what is your justification for having Coach Christian lead that group, given the level of mistakes that have been on display in these games?
Yeah, I think the number one is, there's a consistency that players need in coaching, especially when you're in season. It's also, if you make that move, who's that next guy is he on staff? All those things are part of factors to that. But and the ultimate thing is one, I believe that Coach Christian can do this job and finish the year for sure. And I think it's where we're at and what we can do. It's the best thing for those players at this time.
Your previous 5 opponents are 21-2 on the season, and your next, I believe, are I have it 13-14, 12-15, something along those lines. I apologize. What gives you confidence kind of going into the back stretch that you guys can make a late season push here?
Yeah, I think number one is we're getting better. As frustrating as it is, it's easy to see. I think how we improved and were competitive and right there with Oregon at halftime, and then the way we came out and played 54 minutes of the Houston game against big time, Big 12, Big 10, Power 4 opponents, and have played well and have gotten better. And I thought last week we had a ton of improvement and controlled that game for 54 minutes of it. So that's what gives me motivation and hope that we'll continue to get better, which will lead to the result we're all after.
You guys had Tyler Moreno wearing that number 86 jersey as a 6th offensive lineman. I'm curious, how much did you guys feel like that really, gave you an extra edge? And, is that something you guys plan on kind of continuing throughout the rest of the year?
Yeah, it was something, due to just some lack of depth at tight end that we needed to get a body in there that could, we wanted to get into those formations and do that. And then, so we, put Tyler in there, and it worked, and I thought he did a good job. So it's definitely what we're going to continue to look at doing.
We saw Volson on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going? Do you anticipate him continuing to play a bigger role with this offensive line? And what difference do you think his experience can make?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's just kind of getting back. He was great to have him Friday night, and I think it helped us up front, especially. But he's just a big, strong, physical guy that has experience. And a year ago was our top O lineman, and to get him back should continue to help bolster that offensive line.
How important is this next part of the season from a recruiting standpoint, and then also just a program culture standpoint heading into next season where you guys will be playing a conference schedule?
Again, that's just not something I think about. You got to live in the moment of a week, good or bad, whatever happened the week before. So that part of it isn't the thought process. It's just getting the win against App State and playing the best we can and continue to improve.
You mentioned just how every week, even though that you are 0-5, that the players still have belief. You've never seen that waver despite the losses. What makes you believe that when you walk into the locker room after a loss, and maybe not the locker room, but maybe the meeting when you're reflecting on the past game? What shows you, what do you see from the players that determine that they still do have faith and believe that they can get a win this season?
Yeah, I think the play, number one. I think like I talked about, the way we came out and played and controlled that game for so long. And then when you talk to them and you look in their eye and you watch them work every week in practice, that's what gives me hope and just trust in them. They show up and they work. Even yesterday, day after a disappointing loss and everyone's disappointed, they showed up and went to work and got some work done, reviewed the film. They were eager to learn and get better. So that's the biggest thing. They've just showed it over and over again.
Do players get over it quicker than coaches?
Probably.
They're young.
Young and, they get a little time on. We got to move right into the next deal. And, I know for me, and I would hope every coach, and I believe every coach, but, we consider their failures our failures. So that's kind of how you look at it. Why are we not being successful? We don't look at the players, we look at ourselves and how do we get better. So I think that makes us wear it a little bit longer probably than a player.
The length of this trip, how much will having to go early and go the distance that you go mess with any ritual that you have or flow of what you do? Because it's a long way.
It is, yeah. I mean, we're going to leave a day earlier. So we'll still get all the work in from Monday to Thursday that we normally would here. And then we'll travel Thursday and just have our Friday practice and meetings out there is really the only big disruption other than the long flight and all that other stuff.
And just building off of that, just having, last week you had one less day. This week you have one more day. Just having that day, so you are able to travel a day early and kind of stay on the same schedule. What is the benefit of that? And also, how are you planning on helping just kind of the players' recovery through traveling and everything like that, knowing that they have played 5 weeks in a row already?
Yeah, I think kind of like last week, we'll take some load off them in practice. Some things that short, quick, still get the work we need on Appalachian State, but not be out there as long as maybe we were the first 3 or 4 weeks. That's one way. And then the other stuff, there's nothing you can do about it. We got to travel, so we got to travel. We had a short week, we have a short week. So you just got to get yourself ready through getting in the training room, hydrating, eating right, making sure that you're doing everything you can to get your body ready to be at its best.
Coach, one of the age-old issues for any coach is if the kicker has to make a tackle. Can you talk a little bit about Ojeda's tackle that he made? Was it a good tackle? Because obviously it looked like he got hurt on that play.
Well, the guy went to the ground, so that's a good tackle. That's kind of how you look at tackling. If they go down. But, you don't want it to be that way, though, for sure. And he had to make it, and he did. And, unfortunately, we lost him for the rest of the game.
Do you anticipate having him back this week?
I hope so. I don't know how severe it was. I'll find out this afternoon after he's done all his check-ins and all that stuff. But I hope to have him back.
On a similar note, you mentioned that Malik's hand was injured in that game. That's why he couldn't take the under center snap. Is he good to go for this week? And do you expect having to make adjustments to the playbook because of his hand?
We'll kind of see. He wasn't able to go yesterday, obviously, but we're hoping he'll be good to go tomorrow, if not by Wednesday.
Who serves as your backup quarterback then? Is it Callan or
Jabari?
To Bari as the first
It'll either be Tristan or Callan, and so it'll kind of be competition this week.
And then on a lighter note, happy belated birthday. Did you do anything fun to celebrate yesterday?
No, I didn't. I came to work, so I appreciate it, though.
Okay, John, last one, go ahead.
Have you hit 40 yet?
43, yeah.
Ooh, congratulations. I got it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right,
Thanks for
thank
your
you.
time.